Oh, is it me or is it you? How should we start?
We're here. Hi, everybody. How's it going? We are live.
We're here. We are here. We are actually here. We've managed to get the technology to work, which that's pretty awesome stuff.
I know. And how cool is this? I am in Boulder, Colorado. I'm Heather Nichols, everybody. Nice to see you or meet you or connect or whatever. Thank you for joining us. And this is Mr. Alun Jones, and he is all the way over in London. How cool is that?
Yes, it's evening here. It's about 7 o'clock, and all I can smell in the background is the chili that I'm cooking. So so that's really tantalising me. So that's really good. But yeah, it's been an awesome day, and I've been really looking forward to this. The energy's been building quite well. So yeah, how much fun can we have?
Yeah.
How much fun can we have, and how much more can we create with everyone?
Yes, 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 yes. Yeah, I know a lot of people were really interested in tapping into this conversation today. And what I love about Google Hangouts is you can watch it anytime. So you can start watching it now and start from the beginning. And you can watch it later and you can send it to your friends. And it's just totally available for anybody who wants to watch it at any point in the future. And there's been a lot of interest and a lot of money is it's a big topic for people. It's one of the main topics that are the main areas of life that people tend to get pretty stuck around. And it also is an amazing vehicle for creating more, for creating different realities, for creating your future. And for actually even, the more that you're willing to choose beyond what you think your financial limitations are, the more you call yourself forward to step into your greatness. And money is one of the fastest ways that we limit ourselves and say, I can't do that, I don't have the money, sorry, end of story, period, end of conversation. And there's no question there. And we all know that questions expand possibilities. So what we would like to do today is just to have a chat with you, with each other that you guys get to listen in on around money and creation and what's possible to really have peace and ease with money in your life now, not to wait until you have X amount of money in your bank account or until you're out of debt or until you have the life of your dreams or whatever, to have peace and ease with money. It's actually the other way around. When you can choose to have peace and ease with money and actually not allow yourself to be at the effect of it, because it's all here, it's all made up in your mind, that is when the true freedom begins. And the energy of that actually is one of the most generative spaces for creating more money. It's the opposite of what we think it is. So, Alun, I know this is a fun topic for you, and you asked that we do this hangout, and so give us some love on money from the Alun world.
Can I just pick up on something that you said that for me is something that I'm really starting to become much more aware of? When you said about not waiting to pay off your debt and not living kind of, it's creating beyond what I think is your financial...
Your perceived financial limitations.
Something that was drummed into me so much of a child is live within your limits, live within your means. You only choose within your means. You're never allowed to choose beyond it. And I know that for me, that's bringing up even now, even though I'm kind of shifting my stuff with money more easily now than ever before, that's bringing up charge for me, which is about how the fuck can I choose to choose beyond what my financial situation is right now, because that's irresponsible. It's getting myself into commitments that I can't, all of that stuff that I'm picking up on, that I know that there'll be people listening as well who are kind of going,
absolutely. Yeah, it sounds insane. It sounds irresponsible. It sounds crazy. It sounds all those things. It's like we have so many points of view in our culture and in our world and in this reality about, what is okay with money, what's not okay, what overextending yourself is, and it's like, I'm not saying throw yourself into massive debt to, have the life of your dreams, and yet, you know, there is a freedom of really being willing to choose what's true for you and what's right for you, and to know that. And it does sound kind of airy-fairy, so we will there's some clearing we can do here, but that when we start to choose toward what we would really like to have and create as our lives, and we start to demand of ourselves that we create in a more dynamic way, that we create in a bigger way, that we create from our greatness, that we acknowledge our greatness, because that's one of the greatest sources of creation, is really acknowledging you. But there is a different energy that you become that actually is an energy that brings more money into your life. And what's amazing about, I mean, here we are 7 minutes in, and I'm already having a massive ADD moment. We're like, things right now, shall we? But it's about, what is that expression of putting the cart before the horse? You know, when you think money has to be there in order to choose, it's actually financial abuse, that you don't get to have what you would like to have, you don't get to create what you would like to create because the money isn't there yet. Well, what if, and I want to just ask everyone to suspend the judgment that you have about what is responsible with money, what's not responsible with money, how it gets created, and how you have to wait for it to magically show up in your life in order to choose more. And what if it really truly was the other way around? And you just have to look at what's true for you. But if there's something that resonates with you about what I'm saying, I invite you to follow that. What if it is the other way around? And our choice is actually what creates the awareness that we require to have in order to create that which we have chosen.
Absolutely. Because that was what I was over here. What if choosing more is, so we were talking about, you know, I don't have to clear my past expenditure or debt, whatever you want to call it, before I can choose. So what if actually choosing to have more is one of the quickest ways ever to pay off your past expenditure? Yeah. And for me, in my experience of having, you know, before I started kind of looking at access consciousness, I was over £55,000 in debt, and you know, that's a lot. That's a lot of money. And now it's 28.
Awesome. And I get, Alun, that you don't let it rule your, like, you're happy regardless of if you have past expenditures or not. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah, and I'm still choosing. You know, for me, one of the biggest things. So just to kind of, for me, just to confirm my reality of what you were saying is, I had used the excuse of I can't afford to go to a foundation level 1, and that was an excuse. I just wasn't choosing it. And then when I did choose it, the money just came out of nowhere. And then 6 months later, I was choosing my level 2 and 3. Awesome. And so when it was great. And then I chose to do talk to the entities, and then I chose to do Glenese's class, and you know, and you're coming over, and all these other things are happening because I'm choosing it. And then as you said again, making the demand of me, what, you know, I will do whatever it takes to be the energy of creating more, not just for me, because these classes, these things that you're doing, whatever they are, they require your presence. And are you willing to be?
The creation of your life requires your presence.
Yeah.
And whether that's that you're choosing to take classes, or you're choosing to travel all over and teach classes, or you're choosing to go for a hike in the woods, or you're choosing to, whatever it is, it's like the creation of your life requires your presence. And the more you're willing to be that with you, for you, as you, it's a totally different paradigm of creating. And so I want to just, I mean, there's a whole space of being that we are speaking to, that I get that I'd like to speak more to as we progress. And I'm also aware to just circle back around and just briefly share some pieces about access consciousness with people who are watching this who are not actually familiar. with Access Consciousness. And it's a body of work that is really, really vast. It is about really empowering you to know that you know everything that you require to know about your life, so that you actually start to trust you to create your life. And it's about also, for me, it's really about seeing everything as energy and starting to function as me in my life, as the creation of my life, my business, my money, my family, my relationships, my body, all of it, as the space of energy, not as a thinking, concluding mind who has decided this is how it goes, and this is how it goes, and this is how it works, and this. It's like, it's this invitation to go totally outside of what we think is reality, and to realize that we all make it up. Actually, we all, don't tell anybody, but we all make it up. We make everything. Everything is made up. Everything is energy. And all of the decisions and the conclusions that we have about everything is just a point of view. And when you start to see that everything is a point of view, that actually, and that you create your reality by the points of view that you have, you can actually start to choose what points of view you would like to have to create the reality that you would like to have. Now, it's very different, it's very quirky, and it's very, very pragmatic, and it works. I have been doing just personal growth and transformation work personally and professionally full-time as my life and my business for almost 20 years, and I've never seen anything, and I've done probably half of the trainings out there, and I've taught a lot of them too, and I've never seen anything today that changes people's lives as quickly and effectively and dynamically as Access Consciousness. And it really is about being curious about how you create your life. So if the rules of this reality didn't actually apply and somebody just randomly made them up, then what is it that you could create that you thought that you never could create? What is it that you would like to have as your reality? What would you like to have as your life? What would you like to have as your money flows? And when you can start to really choose the somewhat radical choice to function as the space of question and curiosity and energy, and going, you know what, I'm going to create what I would like to create, things show up really miraculously. And I made a video about this, I think you posted it yesterday, Alun, that it's like practical magic. You get to start to play with this work. And Access has tools for playing with everything, including money and business and relationships and bodies and parenting and sexuality and any area of your life that you would like to change. There's somebody out there, there's something out there, there's tools out there for you to start to tap into that. And one of the awesome ways to tap into that is through the Access Consciousness 5 Days to Change Your Life class, which is 3 classes: the Bars, Foundation, and Level 1. Bars is a 1-day class, Foundation is a 2-day class, Level 1 is a 2-day class. They're consecutive. You can take all of them. You can take just the Bars. And it's really an amazing dive into the foundational tools of Access Consciousness that get you functioning from a different space, and really empower you with tools to let go of anything you'd like to let go of, create anything you would like to create, and you could take that one class and use those tools for the rest of your life and have a totally different reality. And so I just wanted to give people who are not familiar with this work some background on what it is. If you are curious about it, the accessconsciousness.com website has there's facilitators all over the world that do Bars classes and 5-day classes and all kinds of specialty classes. And I'm going to be coming to London to play with Alun in November, 5-day there. So that's just a little background. When you hear us talking about the 5-day, or you referring to different things in Access Consciousness, just so you guys can have a sense of what it is, because what we're talking about here is a very different paradigm. and you have to be willing to start to function inside of, not even inside of any paradigm, but just as the question and the curiosity and the space of possibilities that is truly possible, if you choose it. If you choose it. It's all just a choice.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would totally kind of go with all of that. And I think, I had been looking at access stuff for about a year and a half before I went to my first foundation level one. And I was thinking, oh, well, I've heard all the tools and da-da-da-da. And then I thought, so what am I going to get out of this class, and what contribution can I? It hadn't even occurred to me that I could even be a contribution. And when I went, it changed a lot. So yes, you may know some of the tools, you may think and this is not to sound superior, it's like you may think you know it all, but from what my experience is, when you go to a class, when you go to the foundation level one, so much more can change for you by the stuff that comes up in the class. It's not just about learning the tools, it's about using them, bringing up your stuff, being vulnerable, being willing to look at where you've been creating your life from lies.
Yeah, and it's different every time. I mean, I've had facilitators. I actually do have somebody who's an access facilitator coming to this class in London. And so it's like, if the energy is different and the people are different and the time is different and the space is different, and the material is really, the material is there, and then the class gets created by the energy of.
Absolutely. Oh, you've frozen on me. I don't know whether you can still.
Whatever it is that you're wanting to create in your life, what if you never know? What if you actually never know how to create anything that you would like to create? And what if you don't actually have to know? And what if it's not even about that? To me, it's been a very edgy place to play, because it's not how we're taught to create in this reality. And I gotta say, it's a huge relief to go, oh, you mean I can choose something before I know how to create it? Awesome. I can choose to have more money before I know how that's going to happen? Fantastic. I can choose something that I've never been willing to choose before because I didn't know how it was going to get created. I'm so glad to be off the hook for having to figure it out. And what I can do is I can ask questions. And so when I took my first Access Consciousness 5-day class, that was one of the first things that changed for me very dynamically right away. Was my money changed like that overnight. I started creating more money and more money and more money, and it's just gone exponentialized ever since. And so there's some really powerful tools here, and let's start to dive into some of more specifics around this. And now that we've set the stage for, are you willing to start to play on a different playground, where you really it really is about curiosity and choice.
Absolutely, and I think so. There were two questions that struck me that I would like, if possible, to cover tonight. And one of them is, what are some of your favorite tools for creating your reality with money and creating more? And the other one, I'm going to drop this bombshell on you, is what are some of because you can't change a lie. So
Right.
What are some of the biggest lies that people use to limit their money flows they just cannot change, and then they kind of go round and round in circles?
Right. Wow.
Yeah. Those two can be weaved together, I think.
Yeah, and we've talked about some of the lies already, but specifically, I mean, scarcity is actually a lie. So, if you start to see yourself as an infinite being, and that might be a big jump for some of you, but just look at it this way. We live on planet Earth. Planet Earth is inside of the universe. And when you try to imagine how big the universe is, you can't, right? It's bigger than your mind can fathom. Okay, so your mind is finite. The universe is infinite. You can go and go and go and go and go and go and go out into space. There's no end to space, right? And I know, I mean, even having done this work for a long time, I'm like, what? It's only something that I can perceive. It's not something that I can really see because it's just a different space of looking at it, right?
It's not tangible.
Yeah, it's not. And so so then let's zoom from that space. Let's zoom to planet Earth and to you. You live in an infinite universe. Like, you're part of it. You're not separate from it. You're part of it. So you are an infinite being. And there is a space of possibilities that is available in an infinite universe that is infinite. Truly. It's like what happens on Mars, what happens on Pluto, doesn't happen on the planet Earth. We don't even know what happens on Mars and Pluto, and those are planets in our solar system, right? So it's like everything is possible, okay? So in an infinite universe that keeps going and going and going and going and going and going and going, is there any such thing as scarcity? Or is that something that our minds have created? And there's some really amazing people. There's so many amazing people that play with access consciousness. And I took a class with Stephen Chutisa Bowman this summer, who are amazing entrepreneurs, and they've created a multi-million-dollar business with the tools of access consciousness. And their energy around money is totally delightful. Just total possibility. And I love just tapping into how they create and their points of view and their perspectives on, hey, there is no such thing as scarcity, you know. And Steve Bowman said something like, you know, how much money is in the world? You know, and it's like, if you really start to look at like how much money is in the world, for what reason can you not have more of it? You know,
it's all numbers, isn't it? I mean, you know, we say it's based on gold. Is that true?
No.
Is that
I mean,
really true? What happened if we had gold?
Right. Money is a metal, if you want to look at it as gold, or as paper, but actually it's numbers on a computer. Really. Yeah. So we're going to run a clearing. Okay, so if you don't know the Access Consciousness Clearing Statement, it's just a little magic wand that deletes the energy that this question is going to bring up. Now I can't remember the question. Oh, okay. So everywhere that you've defined yourself and the happiness that is possible in your reality by numbers on a computer, will you destroy and uncreate that?
Yes, totally.
Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, POC, POD, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Yeah, numbers, whether they're big numbers or whether they're negative numbers or small numbers, it's like you have you.
Sorry, there's a lot of unconsciousness on that. That's making me yawn.
Yeah. Yeah. So what are you going to choose? Are you going to choose to define yourself as the numbers on a computer or the cash in your wallet if you want to make it more tangible? Or would you like to see yourself as a space of possibilities that has never actually existed before?
Absolutely. And, you know, and again, part of that for me is, do you want to see money as a chore or as a hard work, or do you want to have fun with it?
Yes.
I mean, do you like being around people who just see you as a chore and as hard work and actually see you as something, well, you know, I put up with you, I tolerate you, you're never there when I need you, and there's never enough of you. And, you know, if money was your friend, would it want to be your friend?
Well, and I love the question too, that, and also if money was your lover, would you still be having sex?
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Or are you guys like sleeping in totally separate twin beds right now, you know? I love Lucy style. It's like, you know, yeah, truly, money is an energy, just like everything else, just like you, right? And when you are willing to be the energy and space and consciousness of joy and possibility, money does want to come and play at your party. And you can actually, like, would you be willing to just even dip your toe into the possibility that you could create more money by just simply refusing to stress out about it? By just saying, you know what? I'm choosing joy, period. Like, for what reason would I not allow myself to be joyful? because of my money situation, or what I don't have, or what I think I would like to have, but I haven't created yet. And that really brings up this space of gratitude that me having gratitude it's actually vital. It's something that is a very key piece of me creating my life. And I've had plenty of times, where I'm so grateful for people that have facilitated me and that have basically like gone, stop that, when I'm not being the space of gratitude for what I've created. Because it's so easy when you want more and you know that more is possible. And this is the flip side of, okay, now you are an infinite being, everything is possible. And then I've been there where it's like, but I don't have it. I don't have it yesterday, And to focus your attention and your energy on that is actually going to create more of that. To focus your energy and your attention and your consciousness on the gratitude that you have for what you do have and what you have created and who you be right now is going to strengthen and expand and create more of that. And truly, that's not really considered like a money tool in Access. I mean, when I think about money tools, I think of a list of tools in the foundation and level 1, and there's a million money tools. But what if that was your greatest ally for creating more in your life with money and beyond, is to go, you know what? I'm not going to focus on my shortcomings or my limitations or what I don't have anymore. I actually am going to choose toward the greatness of me and the gratitude of what I do have, as if my hair was on fire, because that's what will create more very, very, very fast. Very fast. As if you just go, what else? What else is possible? How does it get even better? How does it get even better? You ask that question all day long, it'll change your life.
Yeah, I think for me, I found that to be very true for me. I also have been there myself, where you've got caught up in the, where you put your attention is what you create more of. And so you do this, I want it, but I don't have it. I want it, but I don't have it. I want it, but I don't have it. And so you're constantly, it's like, I'm traveling to America, but I'm not quite yet, so I'll go home again. I'm traveling to America, I'm not quite yet, so I'll go home again. And it's like when you take a journey and you know that it's going to take 2 hours, you don't stop after an hour and go, well, fuck it, I'm not there, I might as well go home. Because like, enjoy the scenery, enjoy the flow of where you're at.
Totally. It does. It creates so much more. And I have a lot of experience with that, just because I am a huge creator, and I love to create really quickly, and I have these times where I'm not really choosing this anymore, but even recently, I've had moments of like, but things aren't showing up instantaneously, and I'm pissed off about it, and as soon as I go, no. What do I have? What have I created? What can I be grateful for? And when I look around, it's like, whoa, that's what I want to focus on. And even just being so fierce about that, even in the past few weeks, I've up-leveled my willingness to be like, to just not allow myself to have any problems, period, because it's all fabricated, right? In this 10 seconds, do you have a problem? Yeah. No. And I've really been fierce about that with me, and my life and my business and my money flows are changing dynamically right now. And a huge part of it is that I'm not willing to go into the problem creation and the problem solving that we are taught in this reality is how we create more. It's a lie. It doesn't create more, and you can actually just stop. Right now, you can stop. And you can just go, you know what, I'm never going to do that again. So anything that doesn't allow that for all of us to just go, problems? What problems? Let's destroy and uncreate it.
Absolutely.
Right, wrong, good, bad, all night, and puck, bud, shorts, boys, and beyonds.
Because you're right. I think it is that is a lie about it being a problem, because money is never a problem. And this is something that I put on Facebook recently, which was it's never ever money that's a problem. It's, for me, what I've realized is my willingness to receive it and acknowledge it when it has come in. So it's not like always that I'm ungrateful. It's just it's not showing up in the way I expected it to.
Yes.
So that's, you're asking for X amount of money, and so we kind of we get into, we can get into that point of view of, unless that specific amount shows up, I'm going to ignore and reject any amount that's less than that.
Yeah.
And even worse, more. You know, I've asked for £1,000, and then 2,000 shows up, and you're going, oh no, it's not 1,000, that's too much. Didn't ask for that. No, no, no. And, it's like, just when you ask the universe to receive it, it's like the universe is going, look, I can give you £1,000, but it's really hard for me to do that small amount. One part of our problem is that we're asking for too little.
I love it. We actually have to work very dynamically to keep money from our lives. I mean, when you really start to see how easy the creation of money can be, you know, I mean, and I see this all the time, and I'm not saying like I've got billions of dollars, you know, I'm always creating more. I'm always stepping up my game and up leveling what I'm choosing and what I'm willing to choose and what I'm willing to create with money that's beyond, you know, just the changes realities. But when you start to play on that playground of seeing actually how easy the creation of money can be, it's like, holy shit, I was working hard. Like I was using enormous amounts of energy to keep my universe. Yeah, so everything that is, and all of the automatic response systems that have you keeping money out of your universe as a habit on the hamster wheel of this reality, will you destroy and uncreate all of that?
Yes.
Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, puck, putt, shorts, boys and beyonds. Yeah, because there is this sort of level of receiving that we're all sort of functioning at, that it's different for everybody. And it's not about what are you, you know, I don't, the conversation of like, what are you compatible with receiving? I mean, you can look at that energetically, and, you know, don't define yourself as anything, because things can change in 10 seconds. And if you say that you're compatible with receiving a certain amount of money, you know, then you're going to limit what you can receive. So, you know, I invite you to go beyond that. If that's something that you've looked at, you know, go beyond that and just, you know, how much can you expand your gratitude and in doing so, expand what it is that you're willing to receive, and how much ease are you willing to have with it. And again, that comes back to, it is a choice. It is a choice. It is a choice.
Absolutely. Yeah, very much so. And I think kind of flowing on from that for me is again something that I've noticed very recently is a number of people talking to me about start-stop. So, you know, you go out, you create all this stuff because you do all this kind of shifting and changing. It's all marvelous, and you go, oh, you know, and then, oh, there's another thought coming in. So like, pick me. Too many kind of thoughts coming in my head at the moment. But yeah, just sticking on this one, it's like, how do we change this start-stop approach?
Yeah,
how do we
great question.
go?
Yeah.
When we're doing that.
Well, and the clearing tools and access consciousness are so brilliant for that. So if you, you know, if you're not familiar with the clearings, it's, and even if you are, I mean, it's a very, very dynamic way to move energy and to actually delete limitation from your universe. Both the verbal clearings and the bars, which is this hands-on energy modality where we run points on the head that literally clears lifetimes of limitation and things that aren't actually true for you, that you're functioning from because you think you should be, or because you just unconsciously, that's where you're operating, right? And we can actually delete that really quickly by running your bars and having your bars run and running the verbal clearings of access, because that creates just a very, very dynamic change in the energetics of who you're being. And anytime you're up against a pattern or this sort of automatic, I mean, this is a big piece recently in Access Consciousness that's come up, is these automatic response systems or auto responders, where it's really just the habit of your mind, the habit of your limitation. And I always kind of liken it to a hamster wheel where you're on the wheel and you're like, I'm going to create a little bit and then I'm going to create crap. And then I'm going to create a little bit and then I'm going to create crap. And then I'm going to create a little bit and then I'm going to create crap. And it's like sometimes to get off of the hamster wheel, there's some stuff to be cleared, and you also have to jump off. Like there's a choice to just go, like I was saying before, like, yes, that's a habit. Yes, it's very, appealing to me on some level to be in the drama and the trauma. And if and once you start to see that that's not actually what's going to create more for you, you have to just choose into a different reality. And again, this is where asking questions comes in. And if you have not taken an Access Consciousness 5-day class, I highly, highly recommend it, because it really gives you, days and days and days worth of clearing, just clearing, and also the tools to really start to ask some very dynamic questions that open up more possibilities for you, so that this automatic response of create, destroy, it's no longer your reality.
Yeah, it's like being on a push-you-pull. Yeah, that thing. Push you, pull me, whatever it is. Yeah. So yeah, again, for me, with that whole thing around, I don't know if people are getting kind of worried about what questions they could ask. If you are, one of the questions that I love is, what question can I ask here that will give me clarity or give me whatever it is that I'm looking for?
Yeah.
Because then I usually get some kind of question come to me, and it's not about, again, one of the things I used to confuse was I was looking for an answer. I'm asking a question for an answer. It's like, well, no, it's not. Awareness is different. Yeah. So what can I ask here that will give me more ease?
Yes. And I think with questions, people, particularly who are just starting with Access Consciousness, a lot of times I get that a lot. Well, what people sort of get paralyzed, like, what question can I ask? What question can I ask? It's like, well, that's a question, like you were just saying. And really it's like, there's a lot of fancy clearings and language and stuff in Access, and like, forget about that. Just forget about that. Get curious. It's really just about getting curious of, okay, well, if there was more possible here than I could imagine with my mind, what is it? And are you willing to get curious and go, what's beyond this? What else is possible? If there was another possibility here, I wonder what it would be. And what you're doing is, as Alun said, you're really asking for awareness. You're not asking for an answer. You're asking for an awareness. And, that's why this is such a different way of functioning and creating, is because it really is about looking at the energy of things and going, oh, that's an energy that really matches what I'd like to have as my life. I'm going to, like, that feels light to me. I'm going to move toward that. And I don't really know what that looks like, and that's okay. And the more I play with Access, and the more I play with the tools and expand the tools and take more classes and stuff like that, the more facility I have with just functioning from that space of like, oh, this is so cool. Like, I really can just choose anything that I want to choose and have no idea how it's going to come to fruition. And it's not even a question in my universe now is how. It's like, well, what questions can I ask, and who can I talk to, and where can I go, and what can I create, and what can I choose that's going to create more. And so have fun with it. If you don't have to get asking questions right, what questions might you ask? And anything that doesn't allow you to be, perceive and receive that, the total curiosity that you actually be, we just create it.
Yes.
Right, wrong, good, bad, all name, puck, punch, shorts, boys and beyonds.
Because you picked on a very key word that was coming to mind there for me, which is about fun. If you ever watch children when they're solving, or they're just playing, they're just having fun with it. They don't kind of sit there and go, oh my God, I've got this wrong. They just keep trying lots of different things, and they have the whole heap of fun while they're doing it. So again, one question for me is, what fun can I have with money that I've never allowed myself to have before? Totally.
And if money were not an issue, what would you choose? And truly, it's like So one of the things I want to invite all of us, myself included, just more and more into is really looking at how can you use money to change realities, because that's really what money is actually for. And when you're in the conversation of consciousness and creating more in your life, it's like I really invite you to start to actually really use money to change realities. And there's a lot of, we're skipping over a lot of basic money tools, but I imagine that a lot of people watching already have them. And if you don't, you can get them in a 5-day class, and we can talk about some of them. But this is kind of an amazing space to start to function from. And when I first started looking at this, it was like, wow. I mean, it was sort of this, we call it like a in access, where it's just you go to the space of like, whoa. Like I have no idea what that is. And I started looking at that, like, well, how could I use money to change realities? And it was like, at first I had this sort of point of view that I had to create something really grandiose, right? Like I had to have all this money to create some organization to change the planet, kind of the traditional way that we think that, money can be used to change realities or to donate it to something or whatever. And, but I just started asking, what would I like to create? And I started to get the energy of creating something that I hadn't been willing to acknowledge that I actually really wanted to create before, which was just a real change in people's lives in terms of the possibility that they're willing to be and to see and to choose and like for people to really start to function inside of what they know is possible. And I had this moment the other day where I'm creating this amazing new website, and it's been this like much bigger project than we anticipated in the beginning, and it's just growing and expanding, and it has its own energy, and the designer that I'm working with is just absolutely phenomenal. And she came back to me the other day and said, oh my gosh, we've gone way over budget, like way, 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 way over budget. And I was like, and I had this moment of like, oh shit, this is, what am I going to do? And I went into this like total fierceness with myself where I was just like, nope, I'm not going to freak out about this. I'm not going to make this a problem. Like this, I will absolutely create it. No problem. And I came back to her and I said, thank you so much for that, because, she was really nervous to tell me about it. She was really nervous to send me the email, and she was kind of like, I could feel her kind of biting her nails in the background.
Oh my God, I need to ask for more money, shit.
I know, it was a lot. It was like half of the total, like added on, so 1.5 times what they told me it was going to be. And I was able to share with her like what it created for me as like an opportunity for me to step into my willingness to create even more, and to just like an opportunity to practice not freaking out, not creating a problem, not going into any sort of stress, because I just knew that I had the choice to choose something else, and I chose it. And for the first time with that large of a sum of money, I was like, I was on the fence, I was teetering, and I went, nope, I'm not going there. And so I came back to her and I said, thank you so much for this whole thing, because this is the gift that it was to me, was for me to actually have the opportunity to really practice not going into problem over something that even 3 days ago would have felt huge to me. And it was so cool. And I said, so I'll pay it. I'm happy to pay it. And it changed her reality. It totally changed her reality. And she was like, you just changed what I have no business to be. And it was so cool because I didn't go into it going, oh, here's the way that I can change people's realities with money, right? Mm-hmm. But it did, and it changed my reality too. And so what if it doesn't have to look like you think it does, but your willingness to contribute to people and to say yes to using your money to create more, and to say, I love supporting other entrepreneurs. I love supporting other people's businesses. I love giving money to people who are creating businesses. Like, it's actually joyful for me, to go to someone's class or whatever, to take a call with somebody or whatever. I love that. I like supporting that. I like using money in that way. And what if that is a very simple way that you can use money to create different realities that actually also is a contribution to you as well? And it really, like you said this, Alan, it doesn't show up like you think it's going to, ever. So just stop looking for it to show up any particular way. And again, get curious. What can this look like? What can my reality with money look like?
Yeah, and what fun can I have while I'm waiting for it to show up, or how it's showing up, or whatever? Because it's like you ask the question, you make the choice, and then you get on with it, and you choose that, and you choose something else, and you choose something else, and all that time you're doing it, and you're creating more, and more is coming to you. And I think to pick up from that last thing, it's like, how much of an invitation is that to other people when they're seeing you be that energy of, look, I'm happy to support you. I'm happy to kind of do all this stuff for you because I know that the universe has got my back, and all of that stuff. It's like, what invitation can you be to others just to go, do you know what? I can choose more, and it's okay.
Yeah, it's almost like the words commerce of consciousness just came into my awareness. It's like this willingness to have this commerce around consciousness, that every class totally expands my reality, absolutely. And or I wouldn't choose it, and I always ask the question, will you expand my life by living my reality? Will you expand my money flows, and I love that I'm also giving money to other people who are doing that as well, who have those targets in their lives. And this is not about this is not to just be focused on taking classes, but I know a lot of people in Access, that's one of the things that people love to do because it is such a dynamic way to expand your reality. And what else? For me, my willingness to create me taking the classes that I would like to take, which has changed everything about my life dynamically, quickly, faster than anything I've ever done. For one thing, is worth all the money in the world, in my point of view. And for another, has actually really shown me what creation is. The whole piece of choice creating awareness. It's like I choose a class. I mean, after I did my first 5-day, I had actually given them checks for a payment plan, the facilitators, and it was, maybe 2 months worth of checks or something like that. And I called them 3 weeks later and I said, you can cash all the checks. Like I'm good to go. I mean, I created the money instantaneously to pay for the class. And then I was like, my body, there was an advanced body process class here in Denver with Gary Douglas, the founder of Access. And my body was like, we're going to that class, we're going to that class, we're going to that class. And I'm like, okay, well, there's 3 prerequisites for it. There's a level 2 and 3 class, and there's 2 3-day body classes. So, and I had about 4 months, and I was like, better start creating, because I chose the advanced body class, and then I had to choose all the other classes to get me there as well. Mm-hmm. And I just started creating. It was like, I'm going to create the money, and I created the money for each class as they came, and there I was, and I was at the advanced body class, and it changed my entire reality. And it changed my entire body, and my body knew, and I was willing to listen, and I was willing to create toward that. So that's how choice creates awareness. And again, whether it's about classes or anything else, it's like, and then what I've done since then is just the willingness to create bigger and more and bigger and more and bigger and more, to where I'm choosing things in my life now that I really, even a few months ago, wouldn't even allow myself to choose because I thought they were, still some part of me thought they were impossible. Mm-hmm. And I'm seeing how those choices are big choices that can change realities, not just my life, but change realities. And that's really the way in which, as we choose greater, as we choose into places and spaces and zones of creation that we've never been willing to choose before, it is absolutely the most powerful way to call yourself forward in your life, in the creation of your life, as the greatness of you. It's like, okay, if I want to choose this, then I got to step up.
Yeah, absolutely. I think stepping up, because that's something that I've been doing over the last few months. So, and that it does make a big difference. Now, I'm conscious I've only got about 10 minutes left, but one of the questions that's burning in the front of my head is: what are some very simple and quick to use tools that people can take away from this, so that they can create either the money to come to your 5-day or other classes or anything else that they want to choose.
Yeah.
What are some really quick and easy stuff that they can take away that's pragmatic?
Yeah, awesome. Okay, well, the first thing you want to do is if you are desiring to have something in your life, whatever it is, ask it. So if we're looking at a class, ask the class, if I buy you, will you make me money? And look
Right.
at the energy of it. Get the awareness of what that is. Okay, and that might sound really strange, but you'll know, even if you don't think you know. Like, what if you could just pretend to trust yourself, and it will. Like your willingness to trust you will expand the more you just choose it. Nobody's going to give you permission to trust you. So know what you know and ask that question. If I buy you, or if I choose you, if I take this class, will you make me money? And if you get a yes, and it could be a shirt, it could be a class, it could be a car or a house or whatever. If you get
But
a
shopping, I do it with my food shopping. I ask things as I take them off the shelf. Are you going to make me money? And if they say no, I put them back.
yes, exactly. And then what you are doing is you are using your money to create more money, because you can use all of your money to create more money. And you are also letting those things know in your life that their job is to contribute to your money flows, is to increase your money flows. Then you're constantly choosing toward more, the creation of more, if you play with that. Okay, so it sounds woo-woo to some people, but it actually is incredibly practical, because you'll know, and then you can choose accordingly. Another thing that has really changed my money very, very dynamically is the famous 10% account in Access Consciousness, which it's a longer term. It just creates you having money. So what it is you want to take, and truly, if you believe that you don't have the money to do this, I dare you to try, because it will create more. And I believed when I started that I didn't have the money to do it, and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to believe that story. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to see what it creates. So you want to take 10% of all the money that comes into your life, whether somebody gives it to you or you find it on the street or it's in your salary or in your business or whatever. 10% of every money that comes, every dollar, penny, whatever, that comes into your world, your euro, pound, and put it in an account. Okay, you can have it in the bank, you could have it in a shoebox, whatever you want to do. You could have it as gold or cash, and let it build and grow and build and grow, and let it sit there and create the reality that you have money. That is the job of the 10% account, is to honor you by having money. Some people call it the having account. And you never spend it on anything. And if you do, you'll see that your money flows will go down. The more you contribute to it, the more your money flows will increase. And you will never be able to say again that you don't have money, because you do. And there is a caring for you and a kindness to you and a kindness to money that gets created when you choose that it's incredibly powerful. And I would say that this isn't necessarily like a quote-unquote practical tool, but it's really, really important with money, is that you being willing to be the space of caring for you with money and how you choose to use your money and to be the space of caring with money, because it also has a consciousness and would like to be used to create more, is an incredibly powerful way to create more and to really just change the reality with money on this planet. So are you willing to be part of changing the reality with money on the planet? And you can just start with you.
Yeah, very much so. And I have a 10% account, and I've got more in it than I've ever had before, and I have money in my bank account. And I've also just put another £50 note in my wallet, so now I have two, and they're really magical for me, because you just don't see £50 notes very often. Well, I didn't, and now I'm seeing them more and more often. I think fantastic, and I'll have more. Thank you very much, universe. I'll have some more, please.
Awesome. Yes, that's another thing, is to carry the amount of money on your body or in your wallet or your purse or whatever that you think a rich person would have. So whatever that is for you, and just start with something, and it'll probably increase over time. But to carry it with you, and to know and to not spend it as well. I mean, you could keep it in a separate section of your wallet, you know, just peek in there every once in a while and go, look at that money that I have. You know, it's cool. Yeah. And then, you know, the last thing too is just this whole piece around choice. It's a really different paradigm to be creating from, and actually, like, I don't even like that word, but it's a different reality to be creating from. And just try it. Just try it. Like, see, like today, okay, just play with this today. What choice have you been unwilling to make today that would create more for you? And it truly could just be, I'm choosing to do this, or I'm choosing to have that, or I'm choosing to take that class, or I'm choosing to have this house, or whatever. Choose it, and then start to ask the universe to show up and to contribute to you having made that choice. It's like stepping in with both feet and saying, I'm doing this. I'm playing on this playground. I'm having this as my reality. I'm choosing this now. What else do I need to know about this? What other awareness can I have? What other choices can I make? You know, where else can I go? Who else can I talk to expand this? And then you'll have more awareness. You'll see more possibilities. You can make more choices. And then you'll have more awareness, and you'll see more possibilities, and you can make more choices. And that is how creation occurs. It's simple. It's different. It's edgy if you really want to function from your mind and the how-to. And it's incredibly practical because it actually creates faster than anything that I've ever seen.
Yeah. I don't disagree with you at all. You know, when I ask a question and it just happens, and it happens very, very differently to how I ever expected, but it's about something that you said right at the very beginning. We are energetic beings, and everything that you're seeing around you is not real. So, whistling the bollocks. So, you know, when you're choosing energy, and how it shows up really has nothing to do with what you're choosing. It's the energy that you're choosing, and that might freak a few people out, and my apologies if that happens, but I'm finally getting that. Not about what you can see, it's about what is the energy that I perceive, and is it showing up the way I wanted it to, or, you know, was choosing it to.
Yeah, and that actually I want to just throw this out there too, that you know, this is not a comfortable process. Like creation, when you're really creating something great, it is not a comfortable process. So you won't be comfortable, you know, creating like this, choosing beyond what you've been willing to choose before, you know, choosing to demand that the money shows up, demand of yourself that you create the money for whatever it is that you're requiring. It is not comfortable. And the great news is that uncomfortable is when you're really there and you're willing to not make it a problem, because that's when we slam the door on possibilities, right? When you're willing to not make it a problem that you're uncomfortable, you are so close to having more of you than you've ever had before. Keep going. I have learned to actually enjoy the presence of discomfort in my life, and to go, you know what, if this wasn't a problem, what is actually just around the bend from where I am right now? And how much more dynamically can I step toward it? And how much more uncomfortable am I willing to be as kind of a baseline for my life? Because what if it's just, that's how creation shows up. That's how stepping into more of us shows up, is by our willingness to go out of our comfort zone. Everything that you would like to have in your life that you've never had before exists outside of your comfort zone. You have to get uncomfortable to go there. And the greatest, I would say the biggest thing that I see people do to stop creation is when they go, I'm uncomfortable, there must be something wrong, and then they stop. Don't stop. Keep going. Keep going.
Because just to quickly, God, I know we're short on time, just to very quickly add to that, for me, one of the things I get, it's when I'm resisting and reacting to that uncomfortableness.
Yes.
It's like, if I weren't resisting and reacting to this, what would I choose?
Yeah. And if it wasn't a problem to solve,
Yeah,
what
exactly.
contribution might it be?
And that's where, that's where some of the clearing comes in with the access consciousness statement, which is
Totally.
all of that stuff that you can learn, people can learn at, either from the access consciousness website or come to the 5 day. And, for me, choose what you choose what feels right for you, as this is to everyone who's watching now. But if you choose it, come to the 5 day with Heather, because I think for me, it definitely was a game changer and a life changer, and I just don't regret it.
It's not called 5 days to change your life for fun. Everybody that
Well,
I know that has taken that class that really plays with the tools, their life is so much more expansive and joyful and abundant. It's so fun to watch what happens in people's lives after they take a class with me. I'm like, I love it. I'm like seeing all these people at all these other classes, and they're doing body classes, and they're becoming body facilitators, and they're, like traveling all over, and they're doing whatever it is that they would like to do and create. And it's one of the greatest joys of my life to be able to share these tools with people. Because, like I said, I've been doing this stuff for 20 years, and I've never seen anything that creates as much change as this work does in money, with money, and way beyond. And so what can you choose for you that would be so fun for you and such a gift of kindness and generosity and caring to you that you've never been willing to choose before? And what if that's actually the gift that you be to the world, is to step into that possibility? So if you would like to come and play at the 5 day in London, as I said, my website is in the creation phase still right now. But if you go to heathernichols.com, which you can see down there, there's a link on that page that will take you to the Access Consciousness page where all of my classes are listed. There's a 5 day in London. I have some 5 day. I have a 5 day in Boulder and in December, and in Hawaii in January, if you want to come and do a 5 day on the beach. And
awesome.
I also wanted to mention that on Thursday, in 2 days from now, I'm doing another free hangout. It's free hangout week, on business, on creating business as a space of you. And again, going into really the energetics of business and some cool stuff that I'm creating around business, which is a really, really fun playground for me. So I will link that underneath this page on Google Plus, so you can see the link to that hangout on Thursday. It's an hour later than this one was, so it would start at this time, wherever it is for you, this time on Thursday. And we'd love to have you come and play with that. So thank you so much, Alun, for just initiating this, and for being here, and for being you, and for inviting me to London. I can't wait to come and play with you and get to hang in person soon.
Absolutely.
In a
I
month.
know, it's really exciting. 4 weeks.
Yeah. How does it get even better? Awesome. Thank you,
Take,
everybody, for being here. Have an amazing and beautiful day.
okay. Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.
Bye.